Yeah, you know, of the 3 ace players coming out, I think most people would, you know, Rogue is a player you expect the least. But as Moonblade said, there's no doubt he's got something prepared on this 2-player map where it's really hard to figure out where that hatchery is hidden, and I think that's going to kind of be the key here. Where is he putting his hatchery? If he's got something else planned, that could be the case too. He might have a double Roach Warren, you know, burrow movement type play.
Yeah, it could be some sort of timing to take a pot here, because here he certainly is, well, there you go. I'm sorry. I play Zerg. What can I say? I love Rogue, but I think I have a good place for this. Rogue has done work in the past. He's a very intelligent player, one of the most intelligent Zerg players for sure. He came out for a reason.
I almost voted Rogue. I was on the fence. I started writing Rogue and I changed my mind, but this could go either way, guys. This is such an important one, I feel like, especially for CJ. Because of how their players work and the format, I think it really favors them if they win this first match today, going to where they are stronger in that ace match format tomorrow.
It's going to be awesome to see this how this one does go down here in game number 7. It's, you know, Echoes this one. If you get a third base up for Protoss, it's not all that hard to defend. It's not like Coda where Hero could go down to some kind of weird double roach shenanigans, but not really sure what other options are left here for Rogue, but I think it's going to be very interesting. So guys, join us for game number 7 on Echo for Hero versus Rogue. Up here in the top left, in the yellow for CJ Entis, the Protoss player. He's back. It is Hero.
And our Zerg to the bottom right is Rogue, Jin Air's ace player, no doubt with a specific plan for the map.
Victory.
Victory.
Where'd the V go? Oh, he's because he's got the V with the thunder sticks.
Well, there you go.
So that took me a little minute to figure out.
Well, I wonder what Rogue has planned, because it must be that he has something interesting planned for it, or he must understand what he has to do against someone like Hero. Hero is certainly not a player that deviates too much in terms of builds. He's no SOS. He's very stuck in his ways until it stops working. So I think that comes into play as well.
I think, especially when you're facing up against CJ Entis, I'm sure Jin Air has some of the thoughts that Wolf was talking about before out Biel. He's gone down in 3 finals now. He's probably not in his best mindset. He comes in, he loses. He's not really the player you need to prepare for. It's going to be Hero. So Hero gets Symbol in the draw, and maybe they're like, okay, well, you know, Symbol's not really going to be able to come out and do some big snipe build. Maybe he did have something planned with that weird hatchery placement on Terraform, but I think this is really, as we have been saying a lot here, Rogue is coming out as kind of a sniper for Hero if it does come down to this kind of ace match.
Yeah, just to kind of continue to echo your points, I feel like Rogue's ZVZ is also better than Biel's had they decided to choose him here. And Rogue's also, you know, one of those players that's just really good at dealing with basically any sort of Terran style right now, and CJ just doesn't have a Terran player to send at Rogue, so I think this is definitely planned. We're seeing both players go super eco mode here, which I did not expect. We even see a Nexus first into Gateway from Hero, and we're going to see double hatch before pool here for Rogue.
That's like the perfect choice for Rogue as well in this situation. He made the right call there, and he ain't going to be paying for it. No Zealot Cannon Rush this time.
This is almost like Rogue is just trying to say, like, yeah, I could have beaten you in the finals if it was me. Like, he wants to just show a straight-up macro game, which is not what I expected. No, we don't know what's going to happen in the mid-game. We could see some sort of crazy Roach push with burrow movement or an early Hydralisk attack. Anything is possible, but so far, just keeping it standard. Not what I expected. I expected to see some sort of hidden hatchery, maybe even an early pool.
Yeah, there's still potential for something in the future there, whether it be a timing and denial of the third base, or even just simply going late game. He goes into the Viper style, maybe he goes Ultras. He's a player that can do it all, so it's just about what was his plan for this map.
See the counterplay here versus the probe. He's actually basically doing the same thing the probe is doing, so he's
Yeah.
actually forced the probe now to mine the minerals, and now it can't harass anymore.
Rogue was responding to that very well, in fact. You know, not losing his double stack there on the minerals, kind of a very small part of StarCraft that sometimes you don't get to see at the highest level.
Well, that's why it's funny, because a lot of people really put a lot of effort into this harass, but I feel like for the defender it's even easier because you're at your base where you're making all your other structures while you're defending it. Anyway, he forces the probe off. He's getting a sentry early on, Hero is, and he's chronoing that out, so he's going to have that energy build up very early.
It's kind of interesting. Something we used to see a lot in the past against very fast 3-base into pull out of Zerg was actually 4-gate pressure, at least some kind of pressure. You get some sentries out pretty early, get some force field energy, and then you go for a push.
The alternative is using the sentries to take a fast 3rd base, and with that forge coming down, I think that might be what he's planning. I worry for Hero, though, if he's just going to do this cookie cutter, go into 3rd base, +2 Blink Stalkers.
Scouted instantly as well, and he sees the sentries. Yeah, it's a very basic. I guess it's faster and safer. Oh, I wouldn't argue actually safer, but it's faster because you are just simply focusing on gateway. You're not investing in a Stargate and Oracles to kind of harass and deny while you do take it. So it's going to go down this early. That's a 6-minute Nexus. That's about as fast as you're going to get it as a Protoss player.
11 drones coming up for Rogue as well, who hides the fact that he saw this because he only he saw with the Overlord, then turned it around instantly. So the Forge that was still building did not have vision of the Overlord. So Hero has no idea that his entire plan is known.
It's just like a resource race right now, and that's all there is to it. Hero being the one that's taken a chance, Rogue the one that identified it, and is now reacting to it very appropriately. In this fashion, at least, he could either be aggressive or he could just take the extreme greed. Nothing in between.
Yeah, exactly. Rogue is going to get up to 60 drones here in about 7.5 minutes. It's going to be something ridiculous. He's going to have a 3-base saturated economy out so fast to the point where he's going to have a huge follow-up behind it.
Yeah, this is the worry always for Hero. He's just doing a build like this, where it's the same build you do every game. Well, there's a Twilight Council, going to be Blink. I'm going to see +2. I mean, we've seen this. A Diamond doesn't. This is just the Diamond doesn't build we see from Hero. Like, he's like, oh yeah, it's a Zerg. I'll do this on this map. It's safe. It's good. Almost if he's playing a ladder game. But Rogue definitely has a plan for this because this is the type of play we see out of Hero. Like I said, almost every time.
Yeah, he certainly put himself in a very powerful place. Droning this hard, getting all his gases up and running. He's up about 15 drones right now, and he's just going through the motions, and I'm sure he's going to be aiming for Hydras eventually, which is probably the most important unit you want in the mid-game against this kind of style.
Notice how he got that Roach Warren up, but he didn't make a single Roach. He was just getting it, maybe if there is some kind of follow-up here, I'm going to need that just for safety. Can mix in some Roaches into my composition a bit later if I do want to, but now he's just making straight-up lings, and I do agree with your Moonglade here. I think he is going to go for those Hydras once that lair finishes up.
Yeah, look at that also. +1 melee, +1 ranged on the way. No Carapace.
Yeah, I think he's kind of hoping that the Hydras get the damage done, and then he's going to transition into Ultras in the late game.
A lot of lings out here.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the right choice for this build, though, because +1's been done for a long time.
Definitely going to be tough to find any sort of damage with these lings. Even baiting out force fields isn't something Hero's worried about right now. There's the Hydra stand fairly late. I do like all the points you're making about the safety Roach Warren as well, Valdez, because we could have seen Hero do an empty 3rd base with like a ton of gateways with the sentries he already built. But let's see if Rogue is going to use these Hydras mostly on the defensive and try to just catch this Blink Stalker +2, or if he's going to try to be aggressive and disrupt it. Missed placement there. The probes can't transfer.
Yeah, he's going for one big attack with his Blink Stalker +2, but so many Hydras on the way, important upgrades on the way, and all the hatcheries he is ever going to need. He's got that macro hatch nearly finished as well as the 4th base. He's very prepared for what's going to be coming, but it's about, does he have the position, does he have the fight that's going to win him the fight and the game.
He's ultra prepared, and also Echo is a map where you can easily get some defensive positions. It's part of the reason why Mech is so strong on this map as well. You can get some really fantastic concaves in between your 2nd and 3rd base. You can be up on the ramp at your 4th base because there's 2 ramps over there. There's a lot of space also up on this kind of middle diamond to get your lings around and maybe go for some type of surround play. So far I'm really liking Rogue's position. I think he should be able to hold this off.
I think so too. I mean, if you look at the way he's got these upgrades as well, he's going to keep his lings separate from the Hydras. The Hydras are going to fire over the forces. The lings are going to come around the back for the Stalkers. They're going to force out some early force fields here as well if he can. He's just buying time with that incredible economy he has. Now, I like the Zealot drop because that's not what Hero normally does. Oh, man, he's going for a surround here. He might just have to recall, and this is terrible. His entire attack, his entire strategy hinged on that push.
Yeah, the War Prism there, going to buy some time at least. It's going to force the entire army back so he cannot go for a counterattack, cannot apply the pressure while the transition to Storm and Immortals begins.
Zealot's in a decent position here. They will get traded out versus those Lings. He's got 84 drones currently. And this is as stereotypical Hero as it gets. So we're going to see Baneling speed drops. Overlord speed as well. He's like,
I love this. This is great.
This is a bit out there. This is a bit expensive, though. He has not simply won the game just by that push being a recall. No, you just need to be careful still.
He's still got the army that can crush this. It's about finding a way in past those force fields and maybe stopping the recall. Oh, here we go again.
Oh, man, he's just going to surround once again. There's so many Hydras here that force fields will not save him.
Oh, so close.
A few Stalkers get caught as well.
And he's got to wait now if he wants to go for a recall play again, because every single time he comes out on the map, he gets surrounded and outmaneuvered by Rogue.
It's actually going to be Archons, no Storm in this mix, which I'm kind of surprised about and a little worried for Hero. I really like the Banelings are going to be perfect for this.
Sure, and the answer to Archons oftentimes is just simply Hydras, because they have such poor range that the Hydras can burst them down before they can actually get into the range of the Hydralisk. He keeps showing Colossi, but I don't think that he believes it for a second. Oh my god.
47 Banelings on the way.
50, 59, 60.
Well, is he going to get them up in time before this army comes across the map? They're marching pretty fast.
Looks like he will.
Baneling speed's going to finish perfectly in time as well. Plus 1 armor. Drop, is it ready? 13 seconds, he needs more time. I don't think Hero has any idea this is coming.
No recall. No recall as well.
Oh my god. This could be crazy. Okay, it's done. It's time to load those Banelings up into the Overlords. Here we go. There's not a ton of Stalkers in this army, and here comes the fight. Forces block out most.
Oh, still Banelings are getting in from the front.
And the Banelings are rolling in at the same time and being dropped down. That's going to be the entire army of Hero going down almost immediately in a really crazy play on a road.
As the Stalkers blink back, every Zealot and Sentry died instantly. The Hydra's doing damage over the force fields at the same time. We have never seen a Protoss Death Ball die so fast and so beautifully.
Yeah, that was really perfectly executed, and it's not stopped now.
Baneling drops, 15 probes go down, and here comes the second one. Hero has not seen it. There's the pull, but there's speed on these Banelings.
Oh, man. Even if he escapes those probes.
He just saves the Banelings.
He's like, drop him, drop him.
Oh, wow. Well, he's doing circles around here right now, but look at this, a counterattack with Zealots. He's desperately trying to remake an army.
Yeah, and he's trying to get Storm. Well, I mean, to be honest, like, I'm going to be the one to say it. I feel like everyone's thinking it. Heroes PVZ is insanely predictable. You know, as soon as I saw that Forge coming up, I was like, all right, he's just going to do a Blink Stalker +2. We've seen him do it a million times. He almost does nothing else but this in this matchup. We saw him actually with some of his most versatility actually versus his teammate Bjell in the finals, possibly because they are teammates, but Rogue is just shutting him down at every turn, and we're going to see a fiery finish here to day one in just a second.
An explosive one, if you will, Wolf.
Sure.
And, yeah, I definitely agree with you. I mean, that's part of the reason why Hero got figured out for about 3 weeks in PvT. It's because he used to do the same thing all the time. Just go for that Twilight, just sit back and be very passive, and then the Terran would just take a very early third command center and get just so far ahead. And we're seeing the same thing here.
Biggest problem as well is he never went for Storm when it mattered. Storm would have been a perfect choice to at least deal with the ground army while he microed back against the Overlords. He does have it now, but at this point he's down 80 supply.
He was never able to identify this either. I mean, even more Archons could have been helpful against Banelings. It takes like a million Banelings to kill an Archon. Oh, God. Here we go again.
So many Banelings in this composition. Meanwhile, that's not going to do too much damage.
He just wants the big Baneling drop. He's not even dropping them on purpose. He's like kind of trolling right now. He just wants to give us a show here. Oh, man, this is like day one of the beta. So many Banelings rolling in.
The Storms are going to come down. The splits on the Banelings against Protoss, and here we go. Down goes everything, and that's going to be it. Hero's going to go down.
Head in hands. And that is how you die, is mass Baneling drops in Game 7. Everything is down. Hero is crushed. He's destroyed. He's the Starleague champion.
GG!
Rogue had a plan. You were right, Moonlight. It's never what I was going to expect to see.
No, I was not expecting that style, but man, did that work perfectly. You should be happy with that one.
Rogue's he's reaching a new level here, guys. I don't know what to say. He played 2 unbelievably fantastic games tonight, and he's really putting on a show for all of us as well.
That was just amazing, amazing play. Whether that was what he had planned from the beginning or if that was a bag of tricks he's kind of had from the past sort of ideas of how to deal with this composition. Like, if Hero does this, I'll do this. Maybe he just wanted to play a macro game in general. He's like, this is one answer he will not expect. Hero was never able to figure out this was what was happening. And he just... The thing is, he just beat the best Zerg players in the world in the Grand Finals in this matchup and showed this different play. But when it came to Game 7, he just stuck with what he always does, his cookie cutter, his bread and butter, whatever you want to call it, his Blink build. That's why his icon in Starleague is that Blink icon, because in this matchup and in the matchup PBT, which you guys were just talking about, he just does the same build almost every time, and it got countered this time by a really unique Baneling play.
And this is also why Pro League is beautiful, especially for this kind of style and this kind of situation for the playoffs. You go to Game 7 and it's still a best of 1. It's not really that all-kill format either. You get to come down to this one last game to decide it all. It's not like Hero has 7 games to figure out his teammate who he has a ton of history with. It's Rogue to say, I have got you fully studied. I know exactly how to counter your early game, get so far ahead that I can use this strategy, and you're never going to expect it.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that Overlord Scout that saw the Forge was actually like the game-winning move, because then he just droned to like 70 ASAP.
It opened up the entire game, the entire early game to make drones and never worry about death. Unless, of course, there was a gateway all in behind that, but that was not going to be the case with Hero.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here are our results. We had things bounce back and forth. Rogue wins the first game. Byung takes it tied up. Then SOS wins over Biel. Biel looking a bit shaky. Then Sora is able to upset versus Trap. Hero brings a little bit more momentum versus Symbol, but then Maru and Rogue to close things out versus Ragnarok and Hero respectively. And Jin Era will take day 1 before we go into tomorrow's matches.
Yeah, off the back of Rogue, which is surprising but nice to see. You know, SOS did a lot of carrying in their last match. This time, though, Rogue looking fantastic, and Maru getting a win as well. Yeah. These guys looking great for tomorrow.
Oh, yes. That's exactly what I was going to say. They take down KT in a 2-0. They prove to everyone they've actually got a really deep